Right, it's a bit of a bumper update for you in September 2025 in terms of credit card news and offers, because the last one I did was in June, and a few things have happened since then, including some offers that have launched this week, just in the last few days. So let's start off with some of the news though. And the first one is for anyone who was interested in the Amazon Barclaycard, but is already a Barclaycard customer. Because this card was launched a year ago, August 2024. But if you already had a Barclaycard, sadly, you were ruled out. You could not apply for this card. Well, the good news is that has changed. You are now able to do that if you already have a Barclaycard. The bad news is it's not going to be an extra card. You'll be switching over. So if you apply and you're accepted, you'll be getting rid of the old card. So you definitely want to weigh up, are the perks or features from your existing Barclaycard that you don't want to trade off in order to get the extras that come with the Amazon one. So that might be the Barclaycard Rewards credit card, one of the top picks we've got for spending overseas because it is fee-free to use it abroad and offers you 0.25% cashback at home and abroad. So not one of the best cashback cards out there, but certainly one of the best ones for when you are overseas and you need to use a credit card. Or maybe you've got a balance transfer or purchase one, which can have particularly longer offers. Often some of the longest offers have been with those. So you don't want to jeopardize that 0% period you've got with those cards. Or maybe you've got one of their Avios cards as well. Now, you might go, I don't have those ones. I don't care about those ones. I really want to get the Amazon one. Just a reminder of what you get with this one, because obviously it's been a year since we last covered it properly. This one will give you 1% cash back on Amazon purchases, and that is double to 2% if you are shopping on days like Prime Day or Black Friday, which is getting closer and closer and closer. So if you do shop a lot at Amazon, particularly around those sales, then that's going to be very hard to beat. Not impossible to beat that 1%. Remember that American Express Nectar credit card will give you the equivalent of 1% back on all your purchases. So, but otherwise, it is hard to get 1% on general shopping out there. It also will give you for the first year 0.5% at other retailers, which again is beatable, but it's not easily beatable, if you know what I mean. So a handful of places might get you more than that, but not too many. But after a year, that drops down to 0.25%. So again, you can match that elsewhere. The other reason why you might be interested by that Amazon Barclaycard is there is always a welcome offer when you first sign up. That's currently sitting at 20 quid, so 20 quid Amazon credit. Now, I personally would hold off because just a few months ago when we had Prime Day, that was as much as 50 quid, depending on which offer you saw. And I imagine it will go up to 40, if not 50 quid again as we get closer to to Black Friday and Christmas. So if you're thinking of doing this, you definitely want to switch over from an existing Barclaycard, maybe give it a month or two. Of course, if you don't already have a Barclaycard, then nothing's stopping you doing that. Although again, I would wait and see if that welcome offer is increased. Now, sticking with Barclaycard very, very quickly here, because this isn't going to affect many people. You probably won't notice it really. But Barclaycard has had an additional add-on that anyone with a Barclaycard, an add-on called the Cashback Rewards. This was similar to you see with other credit cards and bank accounts where certain retailers, you could trigger money back and you could earn on that particular purchase. So for example, they've got LNER on there right now for about 8%, that kind of thing, right? Didn't matter which Barclaycard you could have, you could add this on. Well, that is going to end on the 1st of October. They are going to replace it with Barclays Cashback Rewards. So the only difference there is Barclaycard now says Barclays, because in fact the Barclays Cashback Reward already exists. I've got it via my Barclays current account. Again, don't really use it very often, but it's already there. So I imagine you'll just be able to sign up for that existing system because that one isn't changing at all. What I would say though is if you have been using the Barclaycard Cashback Rewards specifically, then do just check if there's any cash back in there that you haven't claimed. Make sure you get that back. And also make sure it is linked to a Barclaycard credit card, because if you don't do that, then they won't be able to, when the whole system closed on the 1st of October, you won't be able to get any cash back that is due there. Another change to share with you. This one's around Santander. Now, this only applies to new applicants. If you already have a Santander Edge credit card, it will carry on under the terms when you first agree to it. But for newbies, it's worth quickly covering what these changes are. So previously, for the first year with the Santander Edge credit card, you would get 2% cash back. Now, that was capped, so you weren't going to earn a huge amount from that. I think it's a £10 cap every single month. But again, that was one of the highest paying cashback cards out there. That is now gone. It is just 1% flat, and that £10 cap every single month continues. There's also a fee which has increased. So it was £3 a month and will carry on at £3 a month for existing card holders. It's now £4 a month. So when you combine these things, the reduction in the cashback you can get for that first year, plus that cap, plus that increased fee, it actually means the most you're going to get with this in real terms is 0.6%. And as we know, You can beat that with a number of different debit and credit cards. And that's only if you spend exactly £1,000 every single month on the card. If you spend less than that or more than that, then the effective rate actually reduces. And in fact, if you spend £400 or less on the card, you'll actually be losing money because of that fee. So my takeaway here is, unless there is another offer that comes along, a welcome offer, a promo, or something that increases things, and they have run those in the past, I wouldn't be bothering with this card anymore. It was 2% rate, was not too bad even with the fee. Now it is something to avoid. Okay, let's move on to American Express now, because I've got a couple of big welcome offers to tell you about in a second. But before that, there are some changes that are worth knowing about to some of the cards. Again, they affect you if you're a new or existing card holder in these instances. The first one is around the Preferred Rewards Gold credit card. Now, at the moment, there are different spending bonuses you get, regardless of how long that you've had the card. Nothing to do with the welcome bonus, just general spending bonuses. Every £5,000 you spend, you would get an extra number of points thrown in on top. From October, that is changing to £10,000. So you spend anything below £10,000, you don't get this bonus. And then again at 20,000, whereas before it was 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, and 25,000. So if you spend bang on 10 grand or 20 grand, then you're not going to be any worse off. If you spend more or less than those tiers, obviously those bonuses aren't going to be worth as much. Again, this is if you've got the card. The big thing for me about the Amex Gold card is it's only really a 1-year card, because after a year, £195 annual fee kicks in, which negates any of the other perks that come with it. But we will come back to this card in a moment, because this is one of the ones which does have a boosted welcome bonus at the moment. Another Amex one here. This is around the Platinum card and its dining credit. Now, you might remember this changed at the start of 2025. And the way it works right now is every 6 months, you get £100 credit to spend at participating restaurants. Now, a lot of them are going to be in London, but there are national chains in there, such as the Ivy. And the idea is you would spend either in one go, spend £100 and you get £100 credit back to you, or you might go on a couple of occasions and tot it all up. And you get that money back. And if 6 months, beginning of July, it resets. Now, this offer was only due to run for 2025. It's now been extended. So if you already have the card or you get it, and again, this is one I'll come back to in a minute with another welcome bonus. If you do get it now, then that means you've got from now until 31st of December 2025, you'll have £100 credit. And then you'll get another £100 credit January to June, and another £100 credit from July through to December. So even if you only kept this card for 12 months, that's still 3 lots you can get, because the calendar year, it's not a calendar year, it's from now, sort of September round, you've got time to do that 3 times. So that's pretty decent. So that's obviously worth another £200 for you. There's also extended is the equivalent offer for overseas restaurants. So if you happen, and I say it's going to be chance rather than any kind of design, to be in a location where there is a participating restaurant, then again, you can also get another £100 every 6 months until the end of 2026 overseas. But to give you an idea here, for example, there are no restaurants for the whole of Ireland, let alone Dublin or Cork. And then you look at somewhere and think, well, they must have San Francisco. San Francisco's not even in there. And other places, there might just be one restaurant. So that is just like, if you happen to, a nice little extra. But the UK dining credit is definitely a really good perk to think about if you are considering that card. And before we get onto those offers, a quick update here on the British Airways American Express Premium Plus credit card. This one, back in December last year, British Airways said that you're soon going to be able to earn tier points with this credit card. Now, these are different to the Avios points that you earn through your spending on this card anyway. Tier points are dedicated to what's now known as the British Airways Club, where when you are booking flights, if you are on a bronze or silver or gold tier, then you get extra features. So for example, on bronze, you can allows you to sort of pick your seats earlier rather than that 24-hour window. You can do them a bit earlier. And there are other things that come with them as well, other features. Effectively, it's a frequent flyer kind of loyalty scheme, separate to Avios. Well, it has finally, this was actually in June, finally actually come to that card. So it took them a good 6 months before they actually released how to do this. Now, you have to activate the offer in your American Express app or account. Hopefully, as an existing customer, you already got an email about this. If you're new to the card, then make sure you do go into the offer section and activate it, otherwise it won't count. And then for every time you hit certain spending levels, you get a number of tier points. So the first threshold is £15,000 a year. So again, this is about big spenders, right? £15,000 a year, you get 750 tier points. if you spend £20,000 a year, this is cumulative. It's not an extra 20,000. It's another 5,000 on that 15,000 to take you up to 20,000. You get another 750 tier points, and then a total of £25,000 spend. Then you will get another 1,000 tier points. Now, I say in a year. Actually, the deadline for this is much, much, much sooner. It's the 1st of February 2026. You have to do all that spending in that time. So I can imagine for a lot of people in the space of 6 months, well, not even 6 months, really, 5 months, to spend 25k, it's going to be very few of you doing this. But if you are, you may as well activate this offer and get these tier points. But what I should say as well, though, is that that's still not enough. Even if you've got all 2,500 of those points, it is not enough to even get onto the bronze level. You need £3,500. So you need to spend more money. I think it's another grand you need to spend directly with British Airways, not including fees and taxes, in order to trigger that. So it's there. If that floats your boat, then make sure you get it. But yeah, it's not going to be for everyone. Okay, let's look at the latest credit card welcome offers and special deals to tell you about. 3 in particular I want to cover here, all of them from American Express. First one, very quickly, is for the American Express Everyday Cashback credit card. It's a free card, only earns you 0.5% on your first 10 grand of spending, so there are better ones out there, but it is a good entry-level one, and that means Amex are keen to get you into their kind of ecosystem. And there has been for a while now an increase to the amount you can earn cash back on in the first 3 months. It's increased from 5% on 2 grand to 5% on 2.5 grand. So rather than it being worth £100, it's worth £125, assuming you do spend that full amount. Obviously, if you spend less than that, then you'll earn less than that. But it's a good one. There's no sort of set threshold you must meet in order to trigger it. If you do only spend £1,000 on the card, you'll still get 5% back on £1,000. Although, say, it's more of a wasted opportunity if that is the situation. That's been running for a while now, but what's just been added is an extra £10 credit as well on top of that the first time you use your card. So potentially another 35 quid on this compared to what you normally get, so £135 free cash on your kind of everyday normal spending. What I should note with this card is you don't get any of the cash back until a year of having the card. So you'll be waiting a while to get that bonus and any other cash back that you earn. More lucrative, but maybe sort of slightly more constricted, are 2 other boosted offers that have just launched. The first one is the American Express Preferred Rewards Gold credit card. This one is doubled from 20,000 welcome points to 40,000 welcome points. To get this, you have to spend £5,000 in the first 6 months. So yes, it's an increase of what you normally have to spend, but you've got longer to do it. So hopefully, particularly if we think about where we are now, those 6 months include Christmas. As long as it's spending you're planning to do anyway, and you can afford to clear the credit card every single month, so you don't accrue any interest, then this is definitely worth a look. Now, you would also earn a point for every pound you spend. So that first 6 months, that's 5 grand at least that you'll be spending, gives you 45,000 points in total, and that's worth 225 quid, right? So that's basically what you're going to be getting here, 225 quid. You can swap the points into Avios if you'd rather, but I think using it in gift cards to the likes of Amazon or M&S, or putting it towards Nectar points is probably the best way to understand exactly what it's worth. So it's a really, really good increase, one of the highest ones that I've seen for a while. You can actually increase this even further if you go via a refer a friend link. So you need to find someone you know who's got an Amex credit card, and they would just find a link, they would share it with you. Even if they've got a different Amex card, it doesn't matter, because once you're on the page, you can select see all credit cards and you'll find the other offer. It's an extra 5,000 points on top of that as well. So in total, you'll have 50,000 points, which will be worth 250 quid, so an extra 25 quid effectively for doing it that way. Now, as I said before, be careful of this one. Keep it only for 1 year, because after a year, £195 fee comes in. I really don't think it's worth it. But while you have the card, you also have some extra things to look at. There is 2 lots of £5 credit to use at Deliveroo every single month. So don't use this as a reason to shop at Deliveroo and buy takeaways. But if you're going to do it anyway, that's £5 back. You can get potentially up to 120 quid over the year. You also get some free airport lounge passes as well. So certainly worth looking at that. The big caveat with this one, as is the case with the other Amex Everyday Cashback card I mentioned, and most of the other American Express credit cards, is that you cannot get this welcome bonus if you have had any American Express credit card in your name in the last 24 months, in the last 2 years. Now, in your name means you are the account holder. It doesn't mean a supplementary card. So maybe your partner's got one and they've got you a card on their account. If it wasn't your account, if you haven't had a different one in your name in the last 2 years, then you could go for this offer, or vice versa if you want to. So certainly worth a look at this one. And I always say, wait until this gold one is boosted if you're going to go for it, because that extra points you get are definitely make the difference between half that amount and what you get now. The other massive welcome bonus from American Express that has just been announced is for the American Express Platinum credit card. This one will give you 80,000 welcome points rather than the normal 50,000. So an extra 30 on there. This is one of the most sort of lucrative offers. It's run previously and it's hard to beat this one if you're interested in this card. And there are, in fact, a few ways to increase that. And I'll come back to that in a second. What is really noticeable with this card, though, and really important to mention it, is that unlike the rule I just mentioned about you can't get a welcome offer for any American Express credit card if you've had one in your name in the last 2 years, this one you can. And in fact, there are only 3 American Express cards you either already have or have had in the last 2 years that will rule you out of this promotion. There's the Platinum card itself. So if you already have this or have had it, then sadly you can't get the welcome offer again. Or there's the reward card, or the card we just spoke about, the Preferred Rewards Gold credit card. So as long as you've had a different one, so that could be the Nectar card, the cashback card, the Marriott Bonvoy card, whatever it might be, then you are good to go on this, which is really rare. So you've had a bonus already and you can get another one right now. So it sounds fantastic, and it is, but you do have to be aware of one absolutely major caveat, a really, really important thing here. And that is this card is expensive from the dot. As soon as you get the card, you're going to have to pay 650 quid. Now, at the moment, if you decide to cancel that card part of the way through the year, maybe you trigger this bonus and then you don't want to keep it afterwards, then you can get a partial refund. So let's say it was after 6 months, then you get half of that money back. However, there is a risk that this ability to get a pro rata refund will end. I think was it 2 years ago that American Express said they were going to end it, but it still hasn't happened. And it might never happen, but I certainly wouldn't apply for this card thinking you're going to do that. If you can, then brilliant. That's a great little thing, and it increases the profit you're going to make on this card. But I would certainly apply for it on the expectation that it will cost you 650 quid. But I still think it's worth it because of this increased welcome bonus and the other perks that come with it. I think, in fact, your profit you can make from this after the fee is still going to be around 350 quid, if not more. And it's hard to find 350 quid, right? So how does this work? Well, let's talk about the bonus itself, that welcome bonus. So normally it's 50,000, it's now 80,000. This one runs until the 14th of October 2025, as with the gold offer as well. So you've got a while to apply for this if you want to. You need to spend a huge amount of money though, £10,000 in the first 6 months. So again, you need to be able to confidently afford that on things you already want to buy. There's no point in getting this just to trigger these bonuses, because then you potentially be getting into debt or buying things you don't need and spending money for the sake of it. But if you do that, you've got the 80,000 welcome points, another 10,000 points, because it's 1 point for every pound you spend, so 90,000 points. That's worth 450 quid. So already you're losing 200 quid versus that overall fee. But if you go via a refer a friend link again, and remember, it doesn't matter what card your friend has. If they have a different one, doesn't matter. You can still select this platinum card when you click through. It's increased again to 100,000 points plus the 10,000 points for spending 10 grand in the first 6 months gives you 110,000 points. That works out as a gift card or Nectar points at 550 quid. And if we go back to the platinum dining credit I mentioned above, right at the earlier on, then there's another £300 over the next 12 months that you can add on top of that. So you're already straight away starting to go into profit here. Plus, one of the key perks that you get with this card, one of the reasons there is such a high fee, is you get free annual travel insurance for your family. Now, that's only obviously worth the money if you're going to use it, particularly the worldwide aspect. If you're not going out of the UK at all, or you don't have a family, or you're just going away for a weekend, then you could probably get a policy for a lot less. So the value of that diminishes. But again, if you think you're going to have an annual policy for a family, you add that in on top. And I think combined, all those bits together, that's when it adds up to £1,000 in total. Really, really worth thinking about this one. Again, with this one and the gold, we've got a full analysis of the offer over at becleverwithyourcash.com. So do read that, go through all of that. And again, when you go to apply, make sure you do an eligibility search before applying. This is true for any credit card, but really important you do that, because if you aren't going to be accepted, if you are rejected for whatever reason, then it won't appear on your credit report. So by doing this eligibility search, first of all, you'll get a sense of whether it's worth following on with that application. Very quickly, one last thing to talk about. And I did say this platinum offer isn't available to you if you have the reward or the gold credit card right now. And that is the case. But there is an upgrade offer available that I have seen for those cards, if you currently have them, which is 50,000 points. So you won't get as many points, but if you want to go for it, you can. Again, I think it's great to see that increase. It's more than you would normally get for this upgrade offer if you're eligible, and you might not be. But I would certainly have a think about that one if you want to go for it. Of course, the other way around it is if you are on a partnership of some kind of marriage or a relationship, the other person, if they're eligible, they could apply for this to get this offer, and you could cancel your card that you have. So in 2 years' time, you'll be eligible to apply for any increased offer that comes along. So there you go, that's it for this video. Remember, be clever with your cash.com for more details. My name's Andy Webb, thanks for watching. Check out these videos here for more ways to make the most of your money.